If you were a fan of the Superman comics back in the 1990s, then you would have been a part of the amazing story that was the death and return of Superman. This ended up becoming a huge event, and the storyline spanned for almost a year. So when DC Comics announced that they were planning on releasing this epic storyline in a cartoon format on DVD, I was overjoyed. But does it live up to the legacy, or is it about as screwed up as X-Men 3? Well, let me start off by saying this was a far cry from the comic book version of events, and whoever made this movie took way too many artistic licenses with this storyline. Now, the cartoon I thought started off really well. They established the main characters involved, and filled in details that the comic didn't really even go into. They even gave some interesting backstory on how they found the evil monster Doomsday, who would eventually go on to kill Superman. But this is where things really start to go askew. First off, in the movie, Superman is the only superhero who comes in to stop the monster, whereas in the comic, it took Superman, along with the entire Justice League at the time, just to slow him down. Now, this is something I'm willing to overlook, and they probably did this to keep the cost of voice actors down to a minimum. Now, for a cartoon, this movie turns out to be pretty decent, until the point where Superman returns from the dead. In the comics, 4 new Supermen appear in Metropolis after Superman's death, and the reader has to figure out which one of them is the real one. But in the cartoon, only one Superman ends up showing up. What the hell? This movie is hardly what I would call a comic book adaptation. I'm not really sure if they promoted this movie to be one, but if you're going to put Doomsday in a movie and kill off Superman, I expect to see the rest of the story, not some half-assed plot thrown together to satisfy some crazy fantasy. I mean, even the black suit that Superman returns in makes an appearance in this movie. So why not just give us the rest of the story? I'm not even sure how anyone watching this could not catch themselves not constantly comparing it to the comic. Now, the coolest feature by far on the DVD are the bonus features. And it's here that you'll find a kick-ass documentary about the entire history of why they did the storyline and all the media buzz it created. In fact, the documentary is so good, I found it 1,000 more times enjoyable to watch than the cartoon itself. So hardcore fans of the comic book version like myself will probably have a hard time liking this one. But for someone who is not familiar with the comics, might find this one enjoyable.